since I'm beginning my fifth turn, and Santa Ana has just attacked Taylor, along with a couple of other subordinates. Pillow there. And I just wanted you to see how a battle works, because it is kind of unique. I don't know if I've seen this before in any other game like this. Although this is one of the few point-to-point games that I've played, at least recently. But the battle process is kind of cool, and it makes you think a little bit. But each of the sides has to place units in this little pyramid, and the lead unit right here is full firepower. So with Santa Ana, and he also has Ampudia, which is right here. So he's got all these units that he can use. But generally, if you any unit that's over one, such as this light infantry, Mexican light infantry, you'd want to put in there because you get full firepower. But the first priority is this committed slot, and you get one committed unit that you can use if you have a 1-star general, such as Lane. But in Santa Ana's case, you have a 2-star general, so you can do 2 committed units, and that's where you want to place units that are going to be more than one. Typically, it isn't always going to work out, because Santa Ana right now only has 1 unit, the light infantry. That's 2. Torrejon has a 4, which would be great for being committed, because that would double to 8. So in this case, I'm just going to put one of the cavalry units in the lead, and then I'm going to take the light infantry and put in the first committed slot, and then it probably doesn't really matter. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that it doesn't matter. I'll get to that in a second. Another cavalry in the other slot. So by doing a committed slot, you get to double the firepower of those units. So I've got 1 here, 2 doubled is 4, 1 doubled is 2 more. So that's a total of 7 so far. And then all the other units that are in the battle go in the back line, and they each count as 1, which is kind of cool, because let's see if I can find one. I can't find a unit with some of the units actually have 0 on the back. Here's a artillery unit for the U.S. So when it's flipped, this is 2-step unit. So first step, you flip it. Now it looks like, oh, you have 0 for the firepower, so it's worthless. But in actuality, any unit that goes in here counts as 1 firepower right in this slot. So I'm not going to put them all up there because I have quite a few. So we said we have a total of 7 so far. Ampudia has 4 units, that's 11. And I've got Flores should not have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 more. So that's a total of 16 that you can place on the number scale, which is used for a lot of different things in the game. But in this case, you can just keep track of because the numbers can get up there, and you're doing some multiplications and additions, so it's a nice thing to keep track of. So they've got 16. Taylor over here, I'll put them facing us so you can see the power, but you can see they have their own pyramid here on the opposite side of the board. And Taylor has pillow as well, so there you can see a 0 unit. That'll be worth 1 in the back row. So in this case, I'll place the 1, and then now this is where it gets tricky, because I can place this first dragoon there in the committed, but unfortunately before the battle commences, before you lose any of the steps, any units in the committed slots have to lose a step. So that's why over here I was saying it does matter which one I put in that committed slot, because if I put one that's already flipped, I will lose them after the battle no matter what, and that's before you lose any steps in the actual die rolling for the battle results. So by putting the 2 there, you're going to get 4, but you're guaranteed of losing that cavalry unit. In this case, hoping for more reinforcements, so we'll leave them there. So we have all these available for Taylor's army. So we've got 1, and these 3 are doubled to 6, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10. So they have 10 on their firepower, which we'll put over here. Okay, and then each player, oops, I forgot to. There's they're under Fieldworks, so there's 2 more in a defensive position. They have 2 more, so they'll be up to 12. And then each player can play response cards. These officer cards are pretty valuable. This is the Thomas Stonewall, future Stonewall Jackson in the Civil War. And he, as is the case of a lot of the Civil War generals, they had many experiences in the Mexican-American War as well, so a lot of them cut their teeth. Robert E. Lee appears as an officer, but this is a pretty valuable card, because if you play it, you can roll 1 die and add the result to the U.S. firepower. So the die is 0 through 9, so you could get up to 9 more points just straight up if you use him as a field commander. If he's used as chief of staff, it increases the U.S. efficiency roll by 1, which I don't think, unless it shifts you into a higher category for efficiency, that could be like worthless. So I'm almost always using the field command when I use an officer. So I'm gonna roll for that, and he got 5, so there's 5 more points. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's good. It's getting a little dicey now for a Mexican player. So they're up to 17. And then the US player also has this artillery barrage. So friendly artillery is present, as you can see there. So the US player has 1/2 the die roll rounded up. So again, got a 2, so actually gets 1 more for the artillery barrage. And the Mexican player has a morale loss card. If the roll is less than or equal to the opposing commander's strategy rating, then the enemy may not double firepower for his committed units. And they still suffer the step loss. Strategy rating for Taylor is 2, so that's not very likely. So I guess it doesn't hurt to try, because that'll diminish the firepower for the US. And rolls a 7, so no effect. So these 3 cards are played. We have 18 for the US and 16 for the Mexican player. And what's great about this is, even though it's 16 to 17, there's not any odds basis here. But there are some firepower changes which we dealt with. Combined arms, I realized both of the players have cavalry, infantry, and artillery. So they both get this is going to be kind of bloody, possibly very bloody. There's a +3, which I forgot to do, for Santa Ana. Actually has the Army of Tejas, appropriately enough. And so they 1, 2, 3. So now they're at 20. Taylor does no longer has an army. They actually were decimated down here originally at Fort Brown, and both the generals are wounded, but they were replaced this turn. But they haven't had a chance to reform an army yet, which you need a 2, 3, or 4 2 or 3 or 4 ops card to get an army. So they have no army, and they don't get the bonus for that. Auto supplies and appropriate battle cards we did. Field command we did. It's a pitched attack because they spent 3. They had enough movement points to spend 3. I've been very careful about doing that. If it's a large army battle, to make sure that you have enough movement points to do a pitched attack. Defender has the fieldworks, so they got that. Efficiency die roll. Now you can change that. Santa Ana has 1, so he can go up 1. Doniphan is also, actually he's not in, he's not in this army yet, so I'm going to use him. I think I meant to have him with Taylor, so he's in the same spot. Makes sense. So he's also got a 1 tactical rating. And then we roll for each army. Force is an army, so they get +1 for being an army for the Mexican player on efficiency roll. So die roll for the Mexican under the 20 column, right here. And there's the die roll possibilities. Let's see what happens. Ugh. Okay, this is going to be very bloody. 9. as the highest roll you can, natural 9 you can roll. And you had a +1 for being an army. So 10 or more on the 20 is 10. So they lose 1 automatically for that. They lose 1 automatically for that, for being in the committed slots. And then they're left with 1. I don't think they can get 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That army is destroyed. I go back into the regroup cup. And then I have to roll for the generals. I'll get to that. Let's see what the roll is for the US, what they inflicted. I think they're at 19 firepower. And they got a 7. So that is brisk. So the Mexican player loses 6. Oops, here. They lose 1 there. I shouldn't have put this one here. I don't know why. So that's gone. That's before I take the 6 off. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I put D 5, oops, and 6. So there's the 6 points. They still have a decent army left. And then I won't do this on camera, but I'll have to roll for wounded or killed generals, and then replace them probably back here if they survive. So Santa Ana has won another space. They're also getting close to automatic victory if they keep going. We'll see what the U.S. player can do as far as getting some units over there. So I just wanted to show you how the battle sequence goes, because it's kind of unique, and but as you can see, when you get up there with the number of points in an army, it can be pretty bloody, and they can disappear fast. So okay, we'll check out the end of the turn later.